on Grady Newsource. How elections offices are training poll workers to make sure the vote is fair and secure. Updates on the UGA football player's recent assault and battery arrest. And how a warehouse with school supplies is helping teachers to be more sustainable.
Everything in here is free for teachers.
That and more coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. My name is Melanie Levy and we have an excellent show for you tonight. Less than a week from today, Athens-Clarke County will start early voting for the upcoming presidential election. But a lot goes on behind the scenes leading up to that day. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Hernandez gives an inside look at how the elections office is preparing their poll workers for voting days.
Behind every election is a team trained to protect democracy. Last night, Athens-Clarke County talked with poll workers about the critical rules, laws, and ethics for voting. For Anna Pierberg, this will be her first time working the polls, but she feels much more at ease thanks to training.
I am grateful for this opportunity to kind of get a hands-on learning experience because even though it is intuitive, it is new. And so learning how it works and getting to practice it a couple of times is a really, really beneficial experience.
For poll workers like Anna, understanding the weight of their role goes beyond checking IDs and handing out ballots.
People are very interested in ensuring their vote is counted correctly. They want to make sure their voice is heard. So these laws are very important. We want our poll workers to understand how impactful their job is.
The training covers everything from legal requirements to using equipment. Workers are trained to assist voters with disabilities, manage disruptions, and follow protocols for Georgia election laws. And of course, people have the chance to meet before spending 15 to 16 hours together on Election Day. But this year, the day could be even longer. A new rule from the Georgia State Election Board requires local officials to hand count ballots to verify they match the machine totals. Not everyone is on board, including Republican Secretary of State. Brad Raffensperger says it will undermine voter confidence and burden election workers. He also points out delaying election results will lead to misinformation, but poll workers like Anna welcome the change.
If that provides peace to even a couple of people, then it's worth it. Because you want people to have faith in the election system.
As Election Day approaches, these trained workers hope every voter feels confident their ballot is handled with care.
I think that's what gives that confidence to the voters, that our poll workers know what they're doing.
For poll workers, it's about more than just following rules. It's about building trust one election at a time. Savannah Hernandez, Grady Newsource.
With less than a month till Election Day, it's crunch time for both presidential candidates. So the two have been making some unusual guest appearances as of late. Vice President Kamala Harris joined the Howard Stern Show for an interview, as well as the Call Her Daddy podcast with hostess Alex Cooper. Former President Donald Trump appeared on comedian Andrew Schultz's podcast Flagrant this week. A University of Georgia football player was arrested early Tuesday morning on 2 charges. Reporter Faith James joins us live at Sanford Stadium to tell us more about the new case. Faith, what can you tell us about this?
Thanks, Melanie. On Tuesday morning, Georgia wide receiver Colby Young was arrested on misdemeanor charges of battery and assault on an unborn child. Media reports came out today that head coach Kirby Smart has suspended Young indefinitely from the team until the legal matter has been resolved. The police report from Athens-Clarke County Police Department states the ex-girlfriend came to visit Young at his apartment to talk about their relationship. The woman told the police that the conversation with Young began to turn into a heated argument. The woman told the police that Young allegedly grabbed her left arm and physically pulled her out of his room. The woman also told the police Young grabbed her from behind, picked her up, and squeezed her torso and abdomen area very hard. Later, the police spoke with Young and he denied harming his ex-girlfriend. To understand the case more, I spoke with attorney Adam Hebard at HY Law. Let's take a look to see what he has to say about the case.
Every case, of course, gets a hard look, and determining what an outcome might be, especially in an early stage like this, would be would be very hard and frankly involve a lot of guesswork. What we don't have the evidence in the state's case right now. Generally speaking, a police report is not going to become evidence in a case. What will be evidence are the videos and pictures of the interviews with the people at the time. We're very early in this case. We have a very limited amount of information about this case. And I certainly wouldn't want to give anyone the impression, based on anything that I said, that I had any sort of certainty about what the facts and circumstances are about the case or what the outcome might be.
Young was released on a $1,300 bond at 1:35 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, this is all the information that we have on the case so far, but Grady Newsource will provide updates as needed. Melanie.
Yeah, thank you for that, Faith. That's really a shocking new case, and we'll definitely have to continue to see how it unfolds. Next up, after 2 years of construction, the I-85 widening project will reach its end in Jackson County this month. Grady Newsource reporter Tori Newman gives us an update on what drivers should expect in this project's final days.
With Halloween just around the corner, the holiday will also give Jackson County drivers another reason to celebrate. The Georgia Department of Transportation's I-85 widening project is set to end in Jackson on the 31st. For truck drivers such as Ryan Wright, they are ready for the project to wrap up.
Well, I mean, it slows down commute time. I mean, you just have to plan for it, so it's a longer day.
A third lane opened on I-85 by the North Oconee River Bridge last week, leaving final touches and just a 1-mile stretch left to finish in Jackson. The improvements are expected to help accommodate the growth of the third fastest growing county in the United States.
Having more residents come in, more businesses come in, making sure 85 is up to par, replacing some of those aging bridges that were built back when I-85 was first created.
With a total cost of over $300 million, the project was split into 3 phases, widening lanes in Gwinnett, Barrow, and Jackson County since 2018.
Oh, this is the biggest project that I've worked on. I've been on a lot of smaller projects.
Construction in Jackson saw 2 bridges widen for a total of $142 million, in addition to the new lane and road repairs. Once finished, commercial cars and trucks will be restricted to the 2 right lanes, leaving the new left lane open for passenger vehicles. Although Collins says there shouldn't be any major traffic interruptions for Jackson drivers going forward, they should still be prepared for anything.
Know before you go, there's a lot of ways to utilize your wayfinding apps, whether that's Google Waze, Apple, or even our 511 Georgia app.
Tori Newman, Grady Newsource.
Another part of Northeast Georgia will also be experiencing a change coming soon. This year, residents of Winder will be seeing a big difference in their property tax bills. Elizabeth Hunter has more on how and why these changes are happening.
Property tax bills started arriving October 1st. Winder residents won't just be seeing 1 tax bill in the mail this year, but 2.
This is just like this random bill that all City of Winder residents got, in addition to just like this is our regular property tax bill.
Winder resident Claire Guest is not happy with how the city has handled this change.
Getting a bill on October 1st for such a large amount due in 2 months just seems kind of outrageous.
The city let residents know by posting the change in the county newspaper on September 23rd, just 9 days before bills started being sent.
It costs a lot of money to send out mailers, unfortunately. So we had to run with the paper and Facebook and things like that. So a lot of residents didn't know it was coming. So it's caused some concerns.
Jessica Garrett is the tax commissioner for Barrow County. She says that communication has been an issue, but that residents have been understanding once she explains that it's easier and more accurate for the city to calculate their own millage rate.
It simplifies things for Winder, and it simplifies the county bill to have them separately.
Guest says the city should have prepared residents for this so people could adjust their budgets.
But there are a lot of people who are on fixed incomes. My neighbor down the street, she's having to rethink her family's Christmas vacation because the cost of their Airbnb is $900. And it's like she didn't budget for this.
The new amount will be due in full on December 1st, which gives residents 2 months to come up with the extra money. In Winder, Elizabeth Hunter, Grady Newsource.
Hurricane Milton is expected to hit Florida's west coast tonight, but parts of South Georgia may also be impacted by the Category 5 storm. Governor Brian Kemp extended the state of emergency he issued for Hurricane Helene until October 16th because of the, quote, potential negative impact of Hurricane Milton. The state of emergency applies to dozens of counties in South Georgia and includes an extension of the motor fuel tax exemption as well for this region. This past Sunday, one of UGA's dorms flooded as the result of a pipe bursting. Grady Newsource reporter Noah Bice spoke to a student about her experience.
Students in Myers Hall woke up to alarms this past Sunday as their dorm began to flood.
So we really quickly got our stuff. We only got our keys and our phone, and we went out of our room and saw that everyone was evacuating.
Yay!
This is what Layla Carter and her roommate woke up to as they quickly made their way outside. She says they all gathered out on the quad before eventually being told that it would be a few hours before they could come back in. The university released a statement saying that the flooding started because of encroaching wildlife, which caused a power outage that led to a steam pipe bursting and eventually the dorm flooding. The university also says that there are 30 students that still can't return to their dorm while repairs are being done.
A lot of us are still in our dorms. But I honestly still don't know a lot about what happened or what's going on.
Finally, the university says that repairs are ongoing, and housing staff on campus are working with students who are still being affected by the damage. Noah Bice, Grady Newsource.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at Athens Clarke County Animal Services, which is desperately seeking foster families and adopters for their homeless pets in their care.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Animal shelters continue to face overcrowding nationwide. Grady Newsource reporter Colin Miller has more on an Athens organization that has been overwhelmed trying to make a difference.
As the weather begins to cool in Athens, not everyone will have the comfort of a home in the coming months. Athens Clarke County Animal Services says they are extremely over capacity. The shelter picked up over 20 dogs in just 3 days last week. Athens Animal Control Director Crystal Barber has dealt with the problem firsthand.
This is one of those things where we've always, I think shelters pretty much stay full, but we've been overly full. I think we've seen more puppies this year than we've ever seen since I've been here.
This is not just a problem in Athens. More than over 3 million dogs and cats entered shelters in the first half of 2024, according to the National Shelter Database. Barber said that there are multiple causes to blame for the increase in sheltered animals, including COVID, the economy, and strict anti-pet housing in Athens. Even students who are trying to help the cause are being affected. Quentin Eroz has been fostering Tito since March.
When I picked him up initially, I was only supposed to foster him for about a week or 2 max, just to get him back to normal, because he was sick at the time. He was a stray. And To keep it brief, he ended up staying with me for 7 months.
While the shelter will continue to operate regardless, Barber said they will have to make euthanasia decisions if they stay overflowed. The shelter will continue to host events around Athens in the coming weeks, including a dog costume parade on the 20th that will raise money for the shelter. Colin Miller, Grady Newsource.
A mobile food pantry is now offering free groceries to those in need with delivery and drive-through pickup options. Grady Newsource reporter Keisha Chestnut has more on how the program is connecting locals to much-needed food resources.
The Athens Community Council on Aging, a nonprofit aiming to help the lives of the elderly, hosts a mobile food pantry every other month for Athens locals. Ezra Sly is a volunteer coordinator that oversees the program that tries to help alleviate some of the food insecurity, seeing as in 1 in 11 senior citizens didn't have enough to eat in 2022.
Providing food to folks who are food insecure. So food, groceries are really expensive right now.
The U.S. food prices rose by 25% from 2019 to 2023. The Food Bank of Northeast Georgia partners with the ACC by bringing the food in the morning for them to pack up. Volunteers like Ella Magna help with the packing with groceries like potatoes, frozen goods, canned goods, fruit, and more to give to the people.
Knowing that this was available and this is a community source for people to come and get food, I thought it would be great to sign up.
Anyone is able to get these groceries, but they try to make it easier for older people by getting it for them for free.
It's hard for them to go to the store, shop, get transportation there, and just the things that we take for granted with going grocery shopping, they can get it here.
The groceries are either being delivered or drive-through, giving volunteers an opportunity to talk to the community.
This morning I've talked to a bunch of people and just see how their day's going and bring smiles to people's faces, but also, it's like providing meaningful food to people.
With one bag at a time, Keisha Chestnut, Grady Newsource.
After the break, weather anchor Ryan Lynch will give us the 5-day forecast and a look into some conspiracy theories that have been circulating after Hurricane Helene.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
A lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Lynch, and I'm here with your 5-day forecast. Temperatures today peaked at about 80 degrees. Temperatures today peaked around 80 degrees, but will reach the 50s tonight. As for Thursday and Friday, we're going to see some sunny skies and some beautiful weather, with high temperatures in the mid to high 70s. Temperatures will continue to drop at night in the 50s. As for the rest of your weekend, Saturday is going to be beautiful, with a high of 79 and a low of 50. And as for Sunday, temperatures will peak at 82 degrees during the day, then drop to 58 at night. Although Hurricane Milton isn't expected to hit Georgia, people are still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Some conspiracies are spreading about the storm on social media. One of these is that the government shifted Hurricane Helene's path. Here's some posts on X from Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Quote, yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it can't be done, unquote. Quote, if your home or business or property is damaged or a loved one is killed by their weather modifications, shouldn't you be eligible for compensation, unquote. I spoke to Dr. Pam Knox, the director of the UGA Weather Network, about these conspiracy theories. She said while science has experimented with some weather modification, change cannot be done on a scale as large as a hurricane. Take a look.
We do know that you can affect precipitation from individual clouds for cloud seeding purposes, but that's a lot different scale than doing something on a hurricane-wide scale, which is hundreds of miles across. I mean, just think about how much cost it would be to even do something like that. And the unintended consequences are just so severe that there's just no way the government would do it.
Looking forward, Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall in Florida tonight. Now, coming up after the break, sports anchor Riley Kehoe will give us this weekend's rundown.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Hey there, sports fans. I'm Riley Kehoe, and this weekend is packed with Georgia sports action. First up, the Athens Rock Lobsters, our new professional ice hockey team, will make their debut against the Monroe Moccasins on Friday in Louisiana. Don't miss the historic moment as they hit the ice for the first time. Back home, the Georgia soccer team faces off the number 4 ranked Mississippi State tomorrow at 6:30. They're looking to break Mississippi State's undefeated SEC record. And on Friday, the Georgia volleyball team will host 10K Day during their match with South Carolina at 7 p.m. Let's pack the Stegman Coliseum and let's set attendance records. And of course, the number 5 ranked UGA football team will go head-to-head with unranked Mississippi State on Saturday at Sanford Stadium. Dogs fans, it's time to show your support, whether it's hockey, soccer, volleyball, or football. There's plenty of excitement in Athens this weekend. Claws up and go Dogs. That's all I have for sports today, but stay tuned after the break to hear about a local recycling center that helps teachers provide supplies for their classrooms.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
The future generation is in the hands of our local educators. Grady Newsource reporter Christian Andrade shows us how you can provide help and support to teachers in this area.
292.4 million tons, nearly 5 pounds of waste per person per day. That's how much trash the U.S. generated in 2018.
What happens to our planet is very important to me.
Sandy Cedarbaum is the reuse coordinator for Athens-Clarke County. She runs the Teacher Reuse Store.
We sort of alleviate waste and allow teachers to have things that they need for their classrooms.
The Teacher Reuse Store gives donated school supplies to teachers for free. In July, they gave out 6 tons of stuff.
That's 6 tons of stuff that teachers didn't have to buy at Walmart, brand new, and was kept out of the landfill.
Over 90% of teachers spend their own money on school supplies, an average of $500 to $750 a year.
I probably wouldn't have as quality stuff or heavy-duty stuff.
Patty McIver is a STEM teacher at Cleveland Road Elementary. She said she's been coming to the Teacher Reuse Store about twice a month for the past 4 years.
It's super helpful because I don't have to look to other people to have a wish list, and I don't have to necessarily go out and purchase it.
Miss McIver found just what she was looking for.
Some science microscope stuff. So I am hoping that this set here will be great for the kids to see the elements of a microscope.
The Teacher Reuse Store is open for 10 days out of the month, so teachers can come get pencils, a computer monitor, and even this whole filing cabinet for free. But students, religious groups, small businesses, and more have access to the Reuse Store from noon to 6 on the first Wednesday of every month. Christian Andrade, Grady Newsource.
That's all we have for Grady Newsource tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a good night. Yeah, and I have to go tonight to film my story for Monday right after class. I'm doing like a Nucci Space thing. This girl I know is she's like part of the MBUS program. She's putting together a whole...
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Of course, we also have a very qualified staff. Wanted to give Kira a chance. She just had something to tell you about your audio. Can you grab a mic? Yeah.
Amazing show today, guys. It was really, all of your stuff was in on time, like Professor V said. All of it was wonderful and beautiful. So thanks. It made our jobs a lot easier. And we had some new volunteers on our staff today too, which was really exciting, and they all killed it. So clean show on our end. The only thing I would say is just listen to your packages after you export them and check your audio, because we had a couple of them where like the audio was too low or it was too high and we were adjusting it in the show. So just make sure after you export. I know sometimes we're also out here yelling at y'all to like put it in the rundown, but if you could just take 2 minutes, watch through your package, make sure your audio is okay, it would be awesome. But really clean show, really great show, so thank you guys.
And thank you too, Kira. Yeah, and speaking of gestures, I love, the hands are the most difficult thing if you've noticed, what to do with my hands. Yeah, and so I noticed Melanie was really good at that. You know, she used her hands. I use my hands too much. I sometimes have to restrain myself, but her hands were unleashed. They were not, closed in front of her. She was speaking with her hands. She was stressing certain things. She had transitions she had written for herself. Her tone was appropriate, very nicely done. But you can watch your fellow classmates, the ones who've kind of figured out what to do with those hands. Also like Riley, what you did, also you were using your hands appropriately, even when you had to make claw-like gestures. So I really like that. And guys, just watch each other. Each one of you has strengths, and each one of you can learn from the other. So you can do that and get even better, because that's really awkward. It's still for everyone, even for me, it's kind of awkward to, what do you do with your hands on live air? Great stand-ups, Elizabeth and Christian, very creative. Even though I cut yours in half, I think it still worked great. Very creative. Yeah, so again, some people are really, they're really good at stand-up, so learn from them. I'm not saying steal from them or copy them, but get inspired by them. Really saw very strong work. Just had a few things in one package. I wanted to remind Savannah, great package, but just one of your thoughts was the interviewee, the camera was not on eye level. It looked like you were looking up to this person. So just kind of try to level. Your other thought was great, and the package was great, but just that's a small little thing. And I've seen you, not just in your package, but just to remind people, eye level, and very nice close-ups, and a very important package. So really appreciated having that to top our show. Yes, very strong reporting. And Faith, I liked the live shot, was very good. We couldn't get your lighting right, then you were too lit up. At first you were too much in the shadow, but we tried, but it still looked beautiful for you to be there in the stadium. And nice idea to do that. Yeah, nice ad-lib. This wasn't an easy story to ad-lib, and good that you were able to get, I thought that lawyer really put it in perspective. So that worked out good.
Yeah, and Tori's widening was very interesting. Also interesting stand-up. Where's Tori? Yeah. Also, I must say, yeah. I'm sorry. I have it in my notes. Very great stand-up, and I missed it. But also some very creative stand-ups with that little protective jacket or whatever it's called. Yeah. Very, very cute. And a really important story, and you had a lot of dynamic shots because it's hard to make this interesting, right? It's a road construction. And getting that guy, though you didn't give him much headroom, maybe it was a quick thing, and it's like, okay, I'll cut off part of your brain, and that's fine. That's what you get from traffic. No, just kidding. No, that was a very strong package as well, and I'm glad you were able to get that. Wasn't easy, and thank you for driving 80 miles round trip to do that. Yeah, really appreciate it. Very nice graphic as well. Everything was just very good.
Yeah, and that was one that like everyone in the tech room kind of perked up and was like, oh, this affects me, you know?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Very cool.
Very important story, and lots of hard work, and really appreciate it. And yeah, Elizabeth, also very nice. Besides the stand-up, very well shot. Nice B-roll, good framing of all the interviewees. Very important story, so very well done with a great stand-up as well. Noah, thank you for doing this. It didn't quite pan out, but it was still interesting. I thought that the girl you interviewed added some, personal perspective, which was interesting and important. And I liked your graphics also. Colin, very nice. Where are you? Yeah. I kind of glanced away, but I think your opening shot didn't have puppies in it. And there could have been a woof woof in it. That would have been nice. But very nicely shot. Especially, there were, very cute shots, but also we were kind of cringing at the overcrowding where you showed so many doggies, in one. Yeah.
I was going to cry.
Yeah. So you really were saying and showing exactly what was going on. And it was a very well-developed story. And you had that guy who had actually, that's not easy to find, somebody who actually fostered. It would have been nice if we could have seen the dog, a picture. He doesn't. It was? Okay. So I might have looked away because there's a lot going on. I'll watch everything again. Yeah. I like watching things again on my own just to kind of take it in. Very nicely done. Keisha, this came together very well. They didn't allow you to use the person. You did have a few seniors in the shot, so that kind of showed that they were helping seniors. Too bad that they wouldn't. Why didn't they allow you to use that soundbite? The people they were helping. Sensitive, yeah. I understand that, yeah. I remember experiencing that even as I was working as a journalist, a reporter, young reporter in Bulgaria, where right after communism collapsed, the economy collapsed, and basically no one had enough food. And I remember how humiliated I was. I was a young mother, I had a little baby at home, and I was working full time, and there was just not enough food. And I was lining up to get some food which was donated, by rich people in Western Europe. It was so, but you had to do it and everybody was in that situation. So I do understand. I wouldn't have wanted somebody to film me doing that. Yeah. Well, we respect that, yeah. Nice close-ups, nice graphic. Just some advice for all of you, don't start with a sign. Start with some dynamic shot of them doing something and write to it. They're picking up. Oh, all of us really loved the close-ups when you were telling us the different kinds of things that they deliver to people, and you did a series of very nice clips of that. That was very nicely done. Yeah, so it came together very, very well. Yeah, it wasn't an easy story to tell. So I totally understand. Yeah, Ryan, Ryan, where are you? Here. Yes, I'm looking and not see. Yeah, I thought that came together very well with Pam Knox. I really liked that. It added a lot of depth. It was done with a lot of, thought, and it had the right balance, and I really liked that. The only thing is you were hiding the days you were talking about, and you hid also the name of Helene. You were standing in front of that, but next time you do, you practice and you figure out. It's very confusing. That was the only thing that if you do weather again, you might want to. It doesn't look bad. You shouldn't, feel bad about it. But you were hiding some of the temperature. So next time, you'll do better. But no, it was very well done. Yeah, very well. Very strong editorially, and your presentation was very pleasant. Don't take me wrong. I'm just nitpicking. So very well done. And Riley, we talked about the clause and everything. Very well done. I would just have smiled a little bit. I know you're a very serious person. You did smile a little bit with the clause, but it was like very little. But we did see a little smile. You can smile a little more. When you're talking about sports, you have a beautiful smile, so I empower you. Yeah, but nicely done, nicely done. And Christian, very nicely done. Very well thought out. Lots of hard work went to it. Wasn't an easy story because there's a lot of background information and not graphing, and I know you couldn't kill your darlings today. You just love those sound bites so much. I know. Were you able to do the longer version for social? Yeah, that's great.
The longer version is on.
Yeah, but I liked, it was very nicely done, very nicely shot. Wasn't sure about the initial pan, whether you shouldn't have slowed it a little bit. How did it feel to you? Maybe just to me it was a little faster. Yeah, phones are not very good at panning, but it was okay. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, there was no other way you could visualize that unless you went to the landfill, which you didn't have time to do. But that would have been another idea. But no, very well done. Absolutely, I'm just nitpicking. Very well done, and all of you, just kudos to all of you. Really proud of you, and I wish we had done that on Monday when we had guests. It's like, it's like, and that's what I told Chris, and Caroline. I said they're really talented, and they said we understand that was, but still they were very complimentary. They really liked what they saw. So, pardon? Oh, she's. I don't think they lied because I've told you that myself.
Our worst show was still the best.
And yeah. And not only that, creative stand-ups, and I think because there's so much talent and all of you have different passions, and you're learning from each other and you're inspiring each other, and that's makes me very happy. And yeah. Well, I did reassure them that you were possibly my best class, and that this was just an aberration. But yeah, but they still liked what they saw. They really did, because they've been coming here, and they are also very critical of the writing. That's why I try so hard, because you heard them say writing is really, really important, and the conversational style. And so I keep asking you to be more conversational. Now you know why. So that's from me, guys. I would like to quickly give Sydney kudos to you. Very nicely done. And then Lizzie and Jackson, yeah. Over to you.
This was super fun. I thought that it was going to be like a ton more stressful than it was. I went into this day thinking that it was going to be the worst day of my semester, and I had a lot of fun, which was a huge part to this leadership team. We were very silly today, and I think
silly and effective.
Yes, silly and effective.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think that the energy in the newsroom was just up, which was super, super helpful. And, not to mention you guys all got your stuff in on time, which was awesome.
Yep.
The only real piece of, so somehow we ended up being a minute heavy, which I don't know who was heavy or what happened there, because when before the show started, we were 12 seconds or something light. And so, I don't know. But my biggest piece of advice is, A, not to get stressed out about that, because we're floating on a rock. It's going to be okay. And B, write 10 million readers. Write so many readers. You're going to need more readers to then cut. So, and that's something that I unfloated all of the readers in the A block, and then all of a sudden we were heavy. And so that might have been the problem. I don't know.
Usually live, when you have lives, you cannot control the lives. So I think maybe they added a little bit. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah, I was just
live.
watching the show.
That's why you need those readers to kind of float, unfloat. Yeah.
But yeah, great job, everyone. This was fun.
Lizzie, how did we do with the social
We did really good with social media today. I really liked, everything that we all put out. We got a lot of really cool stuff out that was both kind of fun and kind of lighter, and then we had some still good hard new stuff too. We did great with the Grady Daily, I thought, today. We had fun with it, creative. Yeah. We were good with understanding each other. I think communication was good. At least that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel, but hopefully you guys would agree. And yeah, I got a lot of you guys' posts up, got some cool things on YouTube. We got to do a lot of stuff with Christian and Noah, and you got to get
Christian.
Tori's.
No, you can never do stuff with Christian.
No, Christian. but we did.
He hates social media.
Yeah. Yeah, but we got we got a lot of stuff up for him and Noah, and then Tori, we got her story out on Facebook, which I thought
wonderful
because it was really important. I think so everybody did a really good job, and it was super good. Had fun with Jackson, had fun with Sydney, so
good. Glad to
Madison
hear
County's
that.
where it's at. That's all I'm saying.
Did
but
you realize that we're all the Madison County people?
I feel like it usually happens like that.
Yeah, because I can't explain the method to my madness. It is so difficult to rotate everybody through everything. So I don't know how that ended up being that way, but as long as I've rotated everybody, it shouldn't be because we have too many people from one county not working. Yeah, but I don't know how else to square that circle. It's really tough to get everybody. I spend days on that. And then, oops, no, and I count, and yeah. As long as I have you all scheduled to do everything, that's fine.
We were happy with it, so. Well.
Yeah, and I'm happy with you guys. Yeah, I'll take a look at your work. So now let's hear from Oconee County. They are on a roll. They are, please, go ahead. I thought it.
Lizzie pretty much did cover it. Just thank you all to getting everything in on time and getting us content that makes it really easy on the digital side. And I think digital is a lot of fun, and you can get to be more creative and try stuff out. So definitely look forward if you have digital.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And you guys are done. I didn't mean to rudely interrupt the process of the feedback. So we want to hear from Oconee County. They are on a roll. They've been doing some very interesting things. And just tell us about what you're doing. Good job, yeah.
Thoughts from community members. We very quickly identified that growth in Oconee County is a big thing, but more so than that, the impact it's having on community members is really traffic. And it's having a big impact on people who've lived in Oconee County for a long time and aren't really used to all these changes and are frustrated with how congested things have become. So today, after hearing all of those stories, They got B-roll. Sarah and I came back here. We were transcribing SOTs. We were starting to plan out our script. And we were organizing interviews with experts. So now we have 3 expert interviews set up, multiple that we're still waiting to hear back from, just because we want to, spread out and talk to as many people as possible, get our bases covered. But we are in such a good spot. We're really excited about our piece, and it's coming together nicely. So stay tuned.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done a lot of work in these past 3 days. We've gotten about 9 people to really talk about some of the issues on camera and heard from more, and I'm sure we'll hear for some more. I just think we've all worked really hard on all these different little parts, which has made this job a lot easier. We've communicated a lot with each other, and so I think the 3 expert interviews are all set up. They're not even just okay, let's try to make it work. They're all scheduled, and we basically just started on this on Monday. So we've all been doing a really good job to find those little pieces and create different solutions for this. And we have a few ideas for that.
That was what I was going to ask. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you have to secure access to film it in action and talk to the providers and the beneficiaries. So you still have weeks to go, but don't delay too much because you have to, get the solution, an event. Yeah. Great. So by next week, you could probably start working on getting an access and be ready to pivot if a solution, they say, well, you can't come and film because we are going to be doing this in December. Let's say that's too late for you. So choose something that's feasible and something that you can actually film from start to finish, because the focus of a solution story is, how the solution works, step by step, and talking to people while they're doing something. I don't remember whose package was. Yeah, it was. I think Christian, you had this woman. She was actually, as she was talking to him in a soundbite, she was actually showing. That's what a solution story needs, exactly what he was showing. And that was quite a solutions piece that you did, actually. You had the beneficiary, the provider, but showing her and how excited she was, it really brought a lot of energy, and it was a wonderful piece. Yeah, no wonder you couldn't get rid of those sound bites. You just loved all of them. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing you want, and that's why you need the access for the solution, to be able to actually literally show how it works. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is just allowing the experts not to give us the answer, but kind of understand it. We talked about on Monday, one of the biggest things was not going at the experts and being okay, what's the solution? But more importantly, asking what is being done incorrectly or what is being done wrong. Because just in this class, I know a lot of people have pressure on them to solve these issues, and a lot of times you don't know what to do, but you know what is not being done correctly. So I feel like if we go about these interviews that way, it's definitely going to be easier just to pinpoint. But we kind of, we're thinking about a solution, but it's also they're experts for a reason, so they would probably know it better.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need to also maybe go back and re-interview an expert, because once you've selected a solution, the expert is an independent source who can evaluate its effectiveness. What works, what can be done better. So right now you don't have that, so you can't ask that question, because a solution story is, yes, about defining the problem, but the bulk of the story is actually how the solution fixes that. And there are no fixes, addresses that problem. There are no silver bullets. So that would, maybe you will need to kind of revisit one of the experts and ask him or her or them to react to, this is the solution, and ask also the people who are providing it and the people who are benefiting for what they think they're doing well or what they wish they could do better. Again, don't ask people about what's your problem, what's your limitation. It's a different kind of question if you ask them, so what were the struggles along the way, and what do you wish you could do better? What would it take? If they say money, then go beyond the money, say, okay, so if you got some more money, because that's what they usually say, what would you do with it? Where would you invest it so that, and what would you fix with it? So push a little bit more if you get the standard answer, we need more money. But you definitely need the expert to, at least one expert to evaluate the effectiveness of that solution.
Would it be okay if we went, like we get the first interview, our expert gives us a solution, and we obviously do the other 2 interviews, but could we also go and like, so-and-so provided this, how do you feel about this solution? Do you believe it's viable, or should we just leave every interview to be one?
Yeah, so you have to ask them about what the provider of the solution and beneficiary said were the benefits. So basically you're fact-checking what you learned from the solution itself and the providers and the beneficiaries. So fact-check that, so go to the expert and say, well, they say that these are the biggest benefits. They were able to do this and this and this and reduce traffic. I'm making this up by, I don't know, 20%. But they also say that they've struggled with this and this and this. And ask them first, about the benefits, what they think, is this enough to reduce traffic by 20%? And they plan to be 100% in 5 years. Is that feasible? So basically you're running the fact-checking about the benefits, fact-checking about the limitations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just fact-checking, basically. And any insights are what others need to know if they want to adopt that solution, so that they don't reinvent the wheel and struggle too much when other people have struggled and learned some lessons. That's what it's about.
Professor V, I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
Really quick. So Madison County is the last one for Sojo. Real quick, I think we are. What is each group doing? Because I don't want to do something that's kind of similar to somebody else's and like have it be like a bunch of the same solution maybe. I'm just curious.
It is what you find out. The first thing you do is go out in the community and ask people, not what are their problems, but ask them, if you were able to talk to a representative, what would you want them to know, things that they could do better, or things that, or a concern you might have, but kind of not straight away ask them what problem, because people will probably clam up. But they will answer if you were able to speak to a representative, what would you ask them to do, and something like that. And that will get, once you get, like they got 9 different opinions in different places in Oconee County, they narrowed it down because they kept hearing about traffic from most of these people. So that's what you're going to be doing. Once you get back, look at those sound bites and you pick up a thread that goes through them, something that most people are talking about. And then from there, you figure out who is the official in Madison County who can respond to that kind of issue. And then from there, you also think about a solution, finding a solution. Maybe you don't find it in Madison County, maybe you find it in Barrow County. Somebody has been doing something about that. And then you go back to the official in Madison and say, Barrow is doing this, and you cover the Barrow solution. What do you think? Is it feasible for Madison? And then you ask your expert also that. So you could go either way, or it could be a Madison solution.
I guess I still am curious though, what is everybody covering for the solution? I guess, so what, Jackson County, it's growth. Athens, it's gun violence, right?
Coney is traffic.
Coney's traffic. Barrow, school safety. Okay, that's all.
And listen, you might have a similar problem. That's not a problem. Life is what it is. I don't want you to control life and say, okay, so if they're covering this, we're just gonna, we're just gonna, cut a little corner here and make it seem like we have a different problem. Whatever you discover, and then do a little bit of research and see if that really is a problem and how does it look nationwide. Or if you found 2 threads, of problems, then check them out and see which one has more impact. But don't try to engineer. Yeah.
As for gathering your interviews, the first person I talked to, she gave me a good tip. She said that like telling the people you're asking that the opinions can be of somebody they know, they don't have to be their own, really helped a lot. Like she said she wasn't gonna talk to me if it was kind of like these opinions were associated with her. But I was like, you can tell me if it's your parents who also live in the county or it's another county resident you know, it doesn't have to be yours. And she said that was more comfortable because I feel like a lot of people have been getting no's and we kind of didn't deal with that roadblock. I think just making the people you're asking more comfortable, not walking up to them with the camera in their face, like having your press credential like present, kind of just opening it up as like a conversation instead of, hey, we want to interview you. Because we got, I think, 9 total interviews and I got 4 out of 9. So it's just kind of how you like approach it.
Yeah, and one important thing, make sure that people know that this will be broadcast, that it will be in the public. Because you don't want somebody watching our show and saying, hey, I didn't agree to be on camera, broadcast, and then we have to take down the story. So make sure that people know that. But don't start with that because, again, that will intimidate. Use your emotional intelligence. But make sure that you have that on camera, let's say, or in written form, and you'll be fine. Thank you, guys. It's 6 o'clock. Thank you for great work today. Really proud of you.